Hello, good afternoon, everyone. It is Tuesday, October the 9th, and I am here in Dauphin Island, Alabama with the latest Dauphin Island Hurricane Michael forecast. So again, I'm where the blue dot is, and the graph in the middle is the projected path of Hurricane Michael. I must remind you that this is just the center of circulation, and the width of some of these storms is a couple hundred miles. I think this one is somewhere around 200 miles wide at some points. Again, I'm where the blue circle is. You can see some of the models don't rule out a westward wobble to this storm, which would bring some really tough weather to here in Dauphin Island. I think either way, we are going to get some rough weather, so stay tuned, and I plan to do some coverage. So you can see that this storm is angry, so please be careful if you are east of me on the Florida Panhandle. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. It is Tuesday, October the 9th, 2018, and once again, I am outside here on Dauphin Island, Alabama, as Hurricane Michael approaches what looks to be the Florida Panhandle. So I'm going to kind of back in and out of the wind. I don't know if you can quite hear me too well, so I don't have someone to help me film this at this point, but I plan to a little bit later on. But the latest update has this storm strengthening fairly quickly. The pressure has dropped to 965 millibars. Yesterday it was around 980, which is a significant drop. The winds have picked up to 110 miles per hour. We are 5 miles per hour away from this being categorized as a major hurricane. So it is tracking now north at 12 miles per hour, and it is due south of Panama City, which, as the crow flies, is about 120 or so miles to my east. So right now it is moving north, and it is forecasted to kind of veer off to the east, and therefore bringing the right front quadrant of that storm near the potential Panama City area. If you have followed storms for a long time, let's just say Katrina at the very last moment before landfall wobbled a little bit west as it was heading right for Mobile, Pascagoula, Biloxi, and then it made landfall in New Orleans. So if this storm wobbles ever so slightly to the west, then we could get some really significant weather here in Dauphin Island. So I'm going to walk out. Our tide is rising. High tide tonight is roughly about 10 o'clock p.m. So I noticed the tide coming up, so I figured I'd walk out and show you what we're looking at already. Now again, this storm is 300 miles to our south, and as well, it is to our east. So currently, there's not much weather here, but you can see the tides. Normally, my bulkhead is about 2 feet above the water, and you can see it's pretty much level, and the tide has just started to come in. So this is an area that doesn't have a bulkhead, and you can kind of see that water is already coming up on the bay side of Dauphin Island. We have a beach side, obviously, and the west side of the island beach side is already covered in water. It's a nice bird here saying hello. Check him out. What's up, buddy? I don't want to bother him. I think he's like hunting or something. All right, so we'll leave the bird alone. Nice looking bird, though. All right, so anyway, this storm is going to be a destructive storm. And again, pardon my hand in the camera. My dutiful camera woman is at the store. So this one's going to be a destructive storm, not necessarily for us here in Dauphin Island, but if you followed my weather videos and you are east of me, say from Pensacola, Florida, to Destin, to Fort Walton Beach, to Panama City, Apalachicola, maybe even Tallahassee, I don't know if I would wait this storm out right here. 968 millibars of pressure, moving quickly, tides are rising. It would be really difficult for me if it was a direct landfall where I live, even up 16 feet. I'll show you. So if I was in, let's say, Destin, Florida, and again, that's my projected area where I think this thing is going to make a landfall, giving Destin, Florida, again, my forecast, a potential Category 3, which I think is a given, and maybe even a Category 4 hurricane. With a 10-foot storm surge, I do not know, even at 16 feet above the ground, I do not know if I would wait that storm out here. The storm is a couple hundred miles wide. I think 150 to 200 miles wide. And if that storm makes landfall, let's say in Panama City or Destin, Florida, then we're going to have a pretty intense evening into tomorrow morning weather event. So I plan to cover it. I don't know if I'm going to do every hour as it was for Gordon not long ago, where it was just really intense. We couldn't see. We had to hold on to pilings and so forth. But I think it'll be a pretty interesting weather event. But to my east, starting with, say, Pensacola, Florida, Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Apalachicola, Niceville, Crestview, all those areas, be careful with this one. I wouldn't mess around with this one. This one's going to be intense. I do wish it would come closer to here. Obviously, I don't want anybody hurt, no damage of property, but this one would be a very interesting one to watch transpire. Be safe, everyone out there. This one is no joke. The pressure's dropping. It's at 110 miles per hour. It's moving north at 12 miles per hour. Picked up speed from yesterday. So Michael, is gonna make landfall pretty quickly. Always a shout out to Mike Etter and Pascagoula or the Mississippi area as my cohort doing these weather forecasting videos. So looks like, Mikey, you'll be, unfortunately for you, spared on this one unless we get a westward wobble, and that could happen. So stay tuned. Again, we're on Dauphin Island, Alabama, and I'll kind of give you some landmarks. On the other side of those trees is the Gulf of Mexico. On the other side of the trees, I think there's a road, and then just beyond it is basically the beach where historic Fort Gaines is. Just over those oak trees, it's beginning to rain here. Just started for the first time. On the other side of those oak trees is, say, Gulf Shores, the Mobile Bay, and off in the distance, Panama City and Pensacola. That's my trusty tree. I'm looking to my north, and that would be Mobile. The rain just started coming down here, so nice call on the video. So I can see off in the distance that this rain is about to hit me head on. You can see where the water has discolored due to the haze in the sky versus the more clear visibility that I have here. So that's heading directly into my direction. Again, that is my east. And as this storm approaches, the weather is going to be coming out of the east, pushing right at me towards my west. So let's hope this is a good one, at least for some fun weather videos. My trusty tree will be here for us. So, hey, stay tuned. Click a like below, subscribe below, share the video. And I repeat, if you are in Pensacola, eastward over to, say, Apalachicola, be careful with this one. Be real careful with this one. Follow your state warnings, your local fire, rescue. Anybody that is there for this one is not there to make a mountain out of a molehill. This one's going to be a mountain. So stay safe and be careful with this storm to my east. Much love to the Florida Panhandle. This one's going to be tight. So hey, hunker down and get ready. All right. So I'll see you guys in a couple of hours, and if I get some little squall that pushes through here, these little outer bands are pushing in, then I'll send out another video. But again, I don't expect, I'm not trying to hype up something that's not going to be intense here, but I do forecast here maybe 35 to 50, maybe better winds. I do expect water to come well into the yard, so we should have some fun with it either way. Take care. Hope you're having a great Tuesday. And again, much love to the Florida Panhandle. All right, take care, everyone. Check on the bird real quick. So again, be prepared for this one. You can see on this MRI looking infrared radar that this storm is angry and it is only going to strengthen. Be careful, Florida Panhandle. I do think here in Dauphin Island we get some really intense weather for short periods of time. And again, I think this storm may grow to be very Katrina-like, if not very close. So this is the latest intensity model. You can see where I predicted it could be a Category 4, and this graph is showing that very well may be the case. Stay strong, everybody. If you're east of me, be very careful. Click a like below, subscribe below, share the video, and thanks so much, guys. Stay safe.